We're friends to the end. Remember?
This is the end, friend.
I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains.
Why don't you just take your mama home some chicken, and then I won't have to stuff my boot all up in your ass?
It's time to find out.
Let Neptune strike ye dead, Winslow!
Welcome to my nightmare. Let the game begin.
What's going on, guys and gals, and welcome to Good Real Hunting. We hunt for the good reels so you don't have to. It's your boy Brad. Brett over here. We got a special guest with us, Josh from Camp Blood Media down below us. We are excited to bring back another episode of Slash It Out. Bert, is this number 10? Is this episode 10? Or is this 11? I can't keep straight. It's one of those.
Well, we just did 8 with Nick, and then Robbie is 9. Yeah, this is 10.
Okay, double-digit celebration, and arguably, this is going to be our biggest episode yet because we got 2 fantastic flicks we're arguing against here. We're going to be doing Friday the 13th Part 6, which is me, your boy, versus Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter, which is Bert over there. And it's a bit, we both love both of these movies. Well, I love both these movies. Brett doesn't like Jason Lives that much. We'll get into that later. We're really excited to get into it. It's going to be tough. Arguably, these are like most people's kind of top 2 in the franchise, or at least top 3 somewhere in there. So it's going to be a serious battle. We're really excited. Be sure to check out some of our old Slash It Outs if you haven't. We'll put a link for those over Brett's head over there. We love doing these episodes. But guys, I'm excited to get in this one. How are y'all doing today?
Man, I've been waiting for this day, Brad.
It's gonna be a tough
your
one, man.
movie's ass.
Yeah, dude. It's good. Every time I was telling Josh before we went on. Every time that we actually defend the movie, anytime we do one of these Slash It Out episodes and we actually are defending the movie against the other person, like we actually do prefer it over the other movie, it gets intense, guys. So I expect this one to be no different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but Josh, how are you doing today, buddy? And welcome back to Good Real Hunting.
Thanks for having me back on, guys. I'm excited to be on Slash It Out. I want you to know, though, I'm not taking it easy on you guys for this episode. I've got a lot of hard questions, and for 2 of the arguably best movies in the Friday the 13th franchise, 2 of the fan favorites, actually. I think you guys are going to have a tough time arguing this one out.
Oh, man. So I say without further ado, let's get started.
Yeah, without question, dude, this is going to be tough. Obviously, we had to get Josh on for this one. I mean, look at that damn name, man. Camp Blood Media. You can't... he's honestly... There's no other option. So, yeah, I'm excited. I'm ready
we could have not picked the more perfect special guest moderator for this particular Slash It Out. So, should we go to the tail of the tape?
Go to it, my friend.
Alrighty. So, IMBD, we had an equal 6 for 6 right there. So that's awesome. And critic bullshit from my movie. And then look at that.
Yeah.
My movie made more money.
Oh, that is tough, man. And look at that audience score too, man. It doesn't get much closer than that, honestly. It does not get much closer.
Oh man, I'm telling you. So Josh, what do you like? What's the first thing that pops out at you by looking at all of this?
Well, I was looking at the budget versus the domestic box office, but maybe that can be explained by final chapter being billed as like the end of Jason kind of thing. But I guess Jason Lives is him coming back to life, so I guess you can argue both.
Yeah, I think a big part of that is obviously when Final Chapter came out, this is very much everything's been pretty solid up to this point. By the time Jason Lives came out, you had that Part 5 in between, which really kind of turned some people off. So I think maybe that is a big reason why the box office didn't turn out as much. Personally, I think. Whereas 1 through 3, they were all pretty solid. So everybody was still very much into this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I just I can't believe the critics didn't like the final chapter. I really didn't like that. That's shocking to me. It's at 20.
That was definitely the most surprising thing on there for me. the critics 20% for final chapter, like they must just be trying to hate on it for the sake of hating on it.
Yeah, they must got a machete up their ass.
Definitely.
So, anything else y'all want to talk about with these Tale of the Tape?
Not specifically with the Tell the Tape, Bert, but I will go ahead and apologize ahead of time. Whatever I say about Final Chapter, I'm sorry. I just got a job to do here today, and I'm going to do the best I can. But in all honesty, both of these movies I love, and it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
Same here, man. But besides the fact, Jason Lives is more towards the middle of my pack, but I still respect the movie. But so I do apologize that I've had to take it down. So with that, Josh, the floor is yours. This is your show now. Take it away.
I'm not going easy on you guys. You ready for your first question? And it could be one of the toughest questions you're going to have the whole time.
Oh,
I'm really nervous.
Ready?
Oh, yeah.
Which film has the better Tommy?
Oh, right off the bat. No.
Damn, we're going strong on here. Who do you want to go first?
We'll let Brett Mann go first with this one.
Okay. Why is my Tommy better? Well, he's a kid, and when a kid kicks ass, like that's way more impressive than an adult Tommy kicking ass. Just because you don't expect a kid to do much. And plus, my Tommy is just so cool too. He makes all these masks. He knows how to jumpstart cars, or at least it was a fluke when he couldn't start that one. He didn't have a knife on it. I bet if he had a knife, he could have easily jumpstart that car. And then he's also like really thinks quick on his feet as well. Thinking, oh, how are we going to beat Jason? Oh, let's just mess with his mind and just, get this cheapo razor and just go to town on my hair and then just really just mess with him. And just with freaking Corey Feldman, man, like who does not like Corey Feldman? Like, and he was just born to play the kids version of Tommy Jarvis. He whooped Jason's ass, which, by the way, my Jason with Ted White is the best, which I'm sure we'll get to that later on. So I would easily take my Tommy Jarvis for Corey Feldman's performance.
Ooh, well, Bert, man, you would be wrong in doing so, man, because right now we're talking about Tom Matthews. This guy is the freaking legend of the game. Yeah, okay, freaking Corey Feldman, he's cute over there. Like, he's got his, that's some pack of patooties, huh? Like, yeah, he does his thing. Like, that's great. That's fine. But Tom Matthews has actually seen a pack of patooties at this point. He's more experienced. He's more aged. He's got things. He's been through some shit. Obviously at this point he's got part 5 under his belt. So he's really starting to kind of, character-wise now, he's starting to get into this whole thing as a main protagonist of the franchise. So at this point in part 6, obviously this is his third movie, kind of like a trilogy almost. So he's great part 1. He's fantastic. But, at this point, he's learned a lot about Jason. He knows Jason. Jason is his nemesis, rather. And part 6 is, quite frankly, it's Tommy's movie. This is him. He's the protagonist. He's the main guy. Whereas part 4, you have some other people out there that's kind of still in the show. And you got Trish, and you got you got damn Crispin Glover out there tearing it up too. So like this one's all about Tommy, part 6. And I think for that reason, Tommy is he does a very solid job. Tom Matthews, I'm referring to, not to mention his name is Tom. So I mean, but he does. I think he does a really good job of carrying this movie. He's not meant to be funny really at any point in this thing. He's just going after Jason. He's not scared of Jason. This whole movie is him actually going after Jason. So I think that's a nice spin, because usually people are trying to get away from Jason. This time he puts himself into position, and it's freaking mano-a-mano. And at the end, we had that epic freaking lake scene at the end where they're freaking battling it out. Fire, double flames there coming around the lake, and just great battle, man. We see the maggot heads coming out here. So he's actually like he's trying to get Jason to come to him. And for me, I love that. That's the reason that Tom Matthews is still portraying Tommy today in the Never Hike Alone movies, because he is the Tommy. Like at the end of the day, he's the guy. That's the reason when you play Friday the 13th the game, freaking Tom Matthews comes out there, not Corey Feldman. It's Tom Matthews.
Well, what my opponent has failed to mention on that third act of Jason Lives, Tommy got his ass whooped and drowned, or close to drowning. So he did not beat Jason Voorhees. Freaking Megan had to beat Jason Voorhees on a lucky blow with the boat motor. So,
Okay, wait a minute. Hold on now. We don't.
My Tommy did see some action going down. You got to remember that one scene where he's getting all excited in the bedroom, going, like, just getting all excited because he's just excited for the movie and wants to kick Jason's ass, which my Tommy actually did kick Jason's ass, putting a machete right in his face, and it's just hacking him until that fucker is dead. So yeah, bullshit, Brad. Your Tommy sucks.
Okay, first off, lucky swing. Okay, second off, my Tommy actually got his head put down there, so he's actually doing really well with the ladies. Okay, he's doing very solid. He got to freaking go on a long car ride in a badass whip with Meg. Okay, and she's hot, and then he got his head put down there. He had a nice ride, a very good ride. So we'll go ahead and put those two behind us. This guy actually at the end, we don't recall remember little Tommy? He was about to get scooped right out the window until Trish came up and smashed him with a hammer in the head a few times. Like
it was a sneak attack.
So Trish had to sneak up on it. Trish had to freaking beat that ass so Tommy could get away. And then Trish also had to distract Jason so Tommy could go ahead and do the thing. So, I mean, they both had a hard time at the end. Little Tommy had a lucky break, but at the end of the day, Tom Matthews' Tommy is the actual one that put that chain around Jason's neck and threw his ass to the bottom of the lake. If it weren't for freaking Tina later on, he would have been down there forever.
But that Tommy was so selfish. He had to go dig Jason up where he could have just let it go. Like, he could have let it go. He could go see his sister, Trish. Where's Trish? Like, did Tommy ever one time went to go see her? No, man. My Tommy loves Trish, and he defended her to the very end.
Your Tommy probably chopped her ass up at the end of the movie after he opened his eyes there, dude. Like, we don't know that.
And he still had a picture of his sister.
Yeah, because she's dead now because he freaking killed her ass. Now at this point,
where's your proof?
Well, because he went to an insane asylum, didn't he? He wouldn't do that for killing a man. Like, that's actually trying to kill him. That's self-defense. He did it because he killed his sister.
Man, you guys are making such great points. Like, when Brett was talking about the like psychological aspects of young Tommy like fooling Jason, like, and now you're going into how Tommy actually, or part 6 Tommy actually didn't fully beat Jason. Like, he had a lot of help from Megan. But on the flip side of that, I see Brad's point where he says that Tommy is the star of part 6 and only Tommy, whereas part 4. Tommy is a huge part of part 4, but I would almost say that Trish is like the main character for most of part 4 because she's the final girl. Mm-hmm. But Tommy does get the kill in part 4, so it's like back and forth. You guys made a lot of good points in that one.
Yeah, and how many people get to say they killed Jason Voorhees?
Well, Tommy does. He killed him. He killed him again. He killed him in part 6.
Damn.
Dude, there's a reason why his ass gets called in when everybody else dies in the video game. Freaking Tom Matthews' version of Tommy gets called in to go save some asses. There's a reason for that. It's not little ass Tommy running around out there. Yeah,
because they don't want to promote kid violence.
It's not him running around with a machete and a bald head. No, it's Tom Matthews with his jean jacket and his shotgun. And he's out there to freaking tear some Jason ass up. That's because he's the go.
Promote kid violence. Is that what you're telling me right now?
Well, he's beating that ass, so he's not being violent against the kids. This is Tom Matthews freaking.
No, I'm talking about if Corey Feldman were in the game.
Yeah, he'd be beating that ass.
Corey Feldman coming in with the shotgun.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, you guys, is that all you want to say for each of your Tommies?
I rested my case.
Same.
Okay. So, Brett, since you mentioned this during your part of the question, answering that last question, might as well bring it up now. Which Jason is better between Ted White or CJ Graham / Dan Bradley?
Oh, dude, no contest. It's easily Ted White because he just brings such a presence to Jason Voorhees, and not just a presence, but a very violent Jason, like our most violent Jason. Almost like since for the entire franchise, probably for part 7, because that Jason was brutal. But Ted White is like the GOAT. Like, I feel like Richard Brooker, like opened the door for future actors to play Jason Voorhees, but Ted White just busted down the damn door, and literally in the movie busts down the damn door. He is pissed in this movie. He showed off his aggression with some of the most iconic kills within the entire franchise with freaking Axel. You got Jimbo. Shoot, he got Doug in the shower and just like with his long ass fingernails too. Imagine long ass fingernails into your whole face, pushing you against a wall. I bet just that does not feel good at all. And you gotta remember, it was a 2-on-1 attack of a kid, because kids actually it's 3-on-1 because he had to make quick work of a freaking Rob there because he's killing me. Like no contest, whoops his ass. Trish just ran away. Like, trust me, I run away too if freaking Ted White was chasing me. And that's the other thing too. My Jason for Ted White ran. Freaking CJ Graham just freaking power walks. So lazy, dude. So easily Ted White whoops CJ Graham's ass. It's the better Jason Voorhees.
All right. Let's talk about this walking thing first off. Why work harder when you can work smarter? Okay, this man walks the whole movie, but he kicks just as much, if not more, ass. So let's go ahead and nip that in the bud. So we're going to talk about, obviously we have multiple Jasons here in part 6. Ted White, he's fantastic, the GOAT, right? But freaking, let's talk a little bit about our man here, CJ Graham. The guy's a damn monster. We met him in person, Bert. He's freaking huge. He's a big mofo. And you can tell in this movie, he's very fit. He's very tall. He's got freaking.
Oh yeah.
Lloyd Christmas would be so impressed with this guy's butt. Okay, he's really filling these pants out, and he's looking good. We can also go back to just the fact that at this point in Jason's lineage here, he's a damn zombie at this point. Like let's just cut it to the chase. At the beginning of the movie, that opening with Jason when he gets lifted up, whenever they open the casket up and you look down, there's maggots crawling over him, his eyeballs kind of there, is opened up and stuff, and he crawls out and he grabs Tommy at that point. Dude, you're talking freaking that shit's intense, man. He punches through Haas, he punches straight through Haas. Brutal kill right off the bat. And what's really cool about the Jason in this movie is that you see him on screen throughout the whole duration of the film. Whereas in part 4, you don't see him until the third act begins, right there towards around that time. So Jason is actually more of a character in this movie in part 6 because you see him throughout the whole run from the opening, the opening of the movie. For all intents and purposes, you see him and he's carrying the movie, and he's got some great kills in here. We got some badass sequences with him in the RV and pushing people through the wall and freaking stabbing knives in people's heads. The RV flips. He obviously pops out, which is one of my favorite shots in the whole franchise with Jason in it. Absolutely fantastic. Not to mention, he feels like he's got a little bit of personality in this movie, like just a little bit, with the way that the everything kind of transpires. You get that, obviously the opening I've mentioned, he's badass at that point. You get the other 2 counselors that are killed, the guy that shoots him a few times and like, oh yeah, whatever. He flings her around and then he freaking jumps up and stabs the other one. At that point, that whole kill is he's kind of messing with him at that point, which is something he doesn't do a lot of up until that point. He's, he could have easily killed them a lot sooner than he did, but he kind of draws it out and gets under their skin a little bit. And he does that throughout the movie. You see him walking behind Nancy outside the window with Paula Dean, Brett's favorite. You see him kind of walking down the window, kind of stalking and staring a little bit and pulling people out windows, and just, not to mention, like, he's totally freaking badass in this movie, man. Totally badass because, yeah, okay, your boy in part 4 gets chopped up with a machete. He's dead as a mofo. But this man gets blasted away with a damn shotgun multiple times, shot in the face with a revolver, shot multiple other times, and he just keeps coming. And he crushes people to the chiropractor style after that. So I think this Jason is much more intense, and he's harder to kill, man, at this point.
Man, like, Where did you get all these hallucination arguments? Did you get do you have like one of those pouches like your boy Home Depot Jason has on his little baby?
Ooh, don't get me started, because that machete was sexy as hell, dude. He pulls it out. It's silver. That son of a bitch has never been used before, dude. It looks good.
No, your Jason is a thief. He stole that machete from that paintball guy, just who absolutely hates women. I'm not sure why that's a thing. But shoot, my Jason just doesn't mess around. Yours, like you even admitted, your Jason Voorhees likes to play with his opponents in your movie. My Jason just doesn't mess around. He just gets straight to the point. Pissed off that he failed in the third movie, and like, yeah, okay, and you had the ultimate cheat code. Your Jason's a zombie. Mine is an actual human being, so he had to be more careful. And even though in my movie he didn't care whether he was going to get stabbed or whatnot, he was just full speed ahead, and he wants to get the job done.
Yeah, but I mean, he wanted to get the job done, but he was also just kind of hanging out, in the lake underwater for a while, like waiting for somebody to swim out to this raft. He set a trap for it, I guess. But like, yeah, at the end of the day, I think it's far more terrifying for him to kind of play with his victims a little bit. Just kind of give him a little bit of stalking element there. I think that's new and that's fresh at this point in the franchise for number 6. And oh yeah, it's definitely fresh. Did he stalk him like a mofo?
Okay, so you're telling me when freaking Jason Voorhees in Part 6 rips the heart out, that did not come straight from the Terminator?
No, dude, I can't. That's Jason Voorhees, dude. This is Jason damn Voorhees.
Terminator came out in 84. Your movie came out in 86. They totally copied that kill.
Dude, that's not the first time that's been done before. The heart ripping out, it's always a thing. If this is a thing here, it happened. He kills Haas. That's not the last time he rips the heart out either. He does it again in Part 7. It's no big deal. He likes to do that. That's one of his favorites. But, at this point, like, yeah, he's just badass in this movie. Like, he's unstoppable. He's an unstoppable force. He gets tied. The only way they can end Jason at this point is to tie his ass up and throw him in the lake. He's still alive. He's just hanging out down there. Like, he's just like, I mean, he's stuck at the bottom, and there's nothing you can do about it. So I think this adds a little bit more mythology to Jason's character, I think, and I think it's good for that.
Damn you guys!
We're getting at it today. I'm telling you, I got all this angst in me, and I'm just releasing it.
Not to mention, your Jason he was almost teleporting before teleporting Jason was cool. Like when
he was
when that
a
third
fast
act
runner.
When that third act was going on, dude, he was jumping around. Like, you see him, he kills freaking Crispin Glover, and then he's upstairs, and then he's outside throwing axes through the door. Then he's back in here grabbing the axe out of freaking Crispin Glover. Like, he's all over the place. Like, he doesn't know what he's doing. He has no plan.
Well, he's a Deadite, right?
My Jason freaking is a very nice person, and he found that corkscrew for Jimbo.
He did find the corkscrew, that's for sure. He did find that. But
technically, Jimbo asked Ted for the corkscrew, and Ted did give him the corkscrew.
That's true. And but seriously though, where did these freaking fingernails come from for your boy? Like, he didn't have them in the last movie. He's been dead since then. Now all of a sudden he's got fingernails. It doesn't make any sense. So I don't know.
He was at a hospital, and he probably had a nail infection and just grabbed the wrong medication, and his fingernails grew.
That's not. That's so random, dude. He's got long ass fingernails now, whereas he didn't have them before. So I just don't get it. I just don't.
Oh, what's random is your freaking smiley face cute. Oh yeah, so that's such a cute kill, Brad. It's the tree, the smiley face tree. Yeah, let's make Jason all lighthearted and goofy and all that. There we go.
Well, to be fair, that smiley face was already in the tree. So
yeah, but they didn't have to go that far. Like, yeah, let's just like your movie was the PG-13, while mine was hardcore rated R.
Well, that's an objection because it has nothing to do with Jason.
So, I suppose I could go into it right now because this question is kind of an extension of this previous argument. Can I jump right into the next one because it kind of goes off?
Yeah, go right ahead. It's your show.
Which Jason has the better kills in their movie?
So, okay, the best kills. Which Jason had the better kills? Easily mine, just because we have some really damn famous ones. Again, we got Doug in the shower with his hands and the fingernails. That's iconic. Freaking Jimbo Steve of, damn it, Ted, where's the corkscrew? Everybody remembers that one, getting a freaking cleaver to the face. Everybody remembers that one. And let's go with like one of the more underrated kills in the franchise. I believe his name is Peter, getting a freaking harpoon gun straight up into his private area. Like my Jason, like really just wants to like freaking deliver the most painful ways to die in my movie, and he freaking delivers it. Well, she freaking Axel freaking with that little like saw thing, and then twisting his head, he could just ended it with the saw. I'm telling you. My Jason just doesn't mess around the kills in my movie. For Jason delivers in this movie, it's just so damn brutal and sometimes very uncomfortable to watch.
Oh god, dude, this thing starts out. Jason Lives now. It starts out with a freaking heart getting punched out of somebody's chest with somebody's bare hands. It doesn't get much more brutal than that. I mean, we're talking. My heart can't take much more than this, and he freaking punches straight through there. Heart's still beating. He dies. Obviously, he doesn't have a heart anymore. It goes to a couple of counselors getting slayed by a big pole. Like he just straight up chucks a dude after he gets shot a few times, mind you. He straight up chucks a dude, then he freaking stabs the other one in the water. That's great. Those are two very solid kills, I think.
Which that kill was sponsored by American Express.
Exactly. Yes, it was. Yes, a nice, funny moment in the movie. But then we get obviously the caretaker's in there. He gets this freaking "you're gonna beat the death of me" kill where he chucks it back and he gets stabbed. That's a good moment because we get whenever the motorcycle dude runs up and he sees freaking Jason just sitting there freaking slaying his ass with machete after he's probably already dead. That's one of the more intense moments of the movie, honestly. I like that. Obviously, he gets the double spear at that point, the double machete kill, which is always fun. Later, he gets the triple machete kill, triple decapitation, which is, I mean, has there been any other triple kills in this whole franchise? I say no. I don't know. I think that's probably about it. Amazing kill. But then we also get the classic, the RV head through the wall, and then, like I mentioned earlier, the knife in the head, the RV flip, all that's fantastic. Some of the best kills in the franchise right there, back to back, 2 and 2. And then let's not forget the back bend at the end of the movie. I think that's one of my favorite kills in the whole franchise. Easy. Especially if you see the uncut version. Are you kidding me, dude? That's gross. That's nasty. And honestly, like this, mind you, this movie did not have Tom Savini like Part 4 had. So there's already Tom Savini's the GOAT, right? But this movie has more freaking intense kills, I think, with exception of maybe the dude at the beginning of Part 4. So I think that's great. The back bend is excellent. Again, one of my favorite. And that one actually is solid because you actually care for Sheriff Garris at this point because he's actually like, he's been kind of a dick to Tommy, but he's also kind of showing this fatherly figure to Meg at this point. So you're like, oh, and then you're seeing kind of the reaction of Meg because she's out there too. So it's like you really kind of don't want this guy to die at this point. He's been, aside from Tommy, he's been the other part of this movie, the other biggest part of this movie. So when he dies, you actually kind of feel that. Whereas in Part 4, you don't really feel any of the deaths. They're all just random people. They're all, except for maybe Crispin Glover. You kind of liked him, right? But so I think that one's important. And I also, you get a few other little random kills, but I think those are definitely the best of the bunch for sure.
So I was thinking maybe I shouldn't give a point to Brett for this, but he could have said that, what's his name? Rod in Part 3, or what's the name of the guy? Rob, yes. His kill is like so famous that he's the opening death in every match of Friday the 13th, the game, or him as a character himself.
Yes. Oh, that's a good point.
But you both made really good points. Like each movie has some really gruesome kills, and Jason is pretty much at his worst in both. Like you said, Brett, in your movie, he's going from kill to kill to kill, back to back, and he's chasing after people. And then in Brad's movie, he's triple decapitating people and ripping arms off and twisting heads off. And the back break, he's right. The back break in that movie is brutal, especially because you're so attached to the sheriff at that point. Or at least you know him so well, and maybe not attached, but like each movie.
He's a huge part of the movie.
Yeah, and just to have him go out like that.
Paula, too. The way that cabin was left, it's freaking splattered. It's pretty rough, yeah.
But it's not like he went any easier on any of the kids on the vacation home either. Like Brett was saying, he grabbed that one guy and shoved him through the shower and crushed his skull, and like the axe through the door, they hit the girl on the towel, and like there's so many great kills in that movie that it's hard to decide like which one is like better than the other. But through your argument, I decided on what our next question could be.
Ooh.
Oh,
This one's not going to be as like difficult as maybe these first couple, but which movie has the better opening sequence, like opening scene?
Oh, like the opening title card, or like,
Like
or if that leads up to it.
Yeah, just the stuff that like leads up to it.
you want me to
Okay.
go first, Brad, this time?
Yeah,
I know you
go ahead.
picking the last couple. Okay. Obviously, this one easily for me goes to Jason Lives. Like this whole opening sequence of Jason Lives is absolutely fantastic. So much atmosphere in there, so much gothic feel to it. Everything in it is outstanding. Like just the way it starts out with Tommy and Haas driving in the truck down the road. You got the wolf eating a little roadkill on the side of the road, and it's like just you can kind of feel that storm rolling in. The trees are kind of blowing and everything like that. The music, you got this new score in part 6, right? That you haven't seen before. Part 4, like while the score is good in part 4, it's kind of the same as the first 3. Add some new beats to it, but part 6 is like a new score entirely, and I love that. It really starts off heavy in the first opening act. And they get to the cemetery, dude, and they're walking through there together. They got their lanterns, they got their shovel, they got the Jason mask right there. And they're walking through there, man. There's lightning freaking going off, and there's leaves blowing everywhere. The trees are blowing everywhere. The storm is really rolling in, and they're just intently looking for this headstone, and they find it. And it obviously, you have this great sequence there where he's kind of looking down, and lightning again kind of illuminates this headstone. It's fantastic. And then they start to dig. Haas is freaking out, like any person would. He's over there like, I have a bad feeling about this. Oh no, we shouldn't do this. And Tommy's like, oh yeah, I'm going to send this guy to hell for once and for all. Yeah, and he starts digging, dude, and like it doesn't linger. It cuts for them doing the first one, and then next thing you know, they're making contact with the box, and they open that up. Fantastic visual effects on Jason here. Some of the best effects in the whole franchise right here when they open it up. He looks so good. Maggots are falling off his head, and he's got freaking worms crawling out of his eyeball. It just looks so good. Tommy loses it. We get a great flashback to part 4 for your movie. Audio flashback where he's hearing the die, and then Trish is like, oh, stop it, Tommy, no. And then he just loses it. He grabs the rail off the fence, and then we get the lightning effect there, Frankenstein style, wakes him up. We get the eye opening up, and then obviously at that point, Tommy's like, fuck this motherfucker, fuck you, Jason. He throws it down in there. He starts pouring the gas in there, or he starts to get down in there to get the pole out. And then that's when Jason wakes up, grabs his ass, pulls him in. Intense ass moment. He chucks Tommy, and then Haas comes up with a shovel like he's damn Mick Foley. He comes back in there and just starts, he tries to get that behind the head hit, and then it fails miserably. At this point, we see Jason's no longer fucking around at all because he takes this freaking hit like a man, and then it doesn't even faze him. He just turns around, punches the dude's heart out. That's it. That's over. He tries to catch him on fire. Again, maggots are falling off his head this whole time. It's fantastic stuff. Tommy is obviously freaking the hell out, and he gets out of there. And then we get this great sequence where he picks up the mask, Halloween 2018 style, mind you. He picks up the mask, he puts it on, and we get this great little Bond opening there. So we immediately know this movie is changing tones, and we're going to have a good time with this movie. And for me, it's my favorite movie in the whole franchise without question.
Okay.
Whereas part 4 is like, pretty much like, I usually in the opening of part 4, I'm like, can we just skip all this and get to the actual movie now?
Oh, but without the opening of my movie, it just doesn't. You got to establish the tone early on, like even you said, you got to establish that tone, and that's exactly what my opening did. Yeah, yours might be more iconic and just the most popular. Like, yay, good for you. But mine's definitely the most underappreciated opening, just because amazing lighting, just all dark and gloomy. It's hard to see everything. Like the whole hospital, like the morgue scene, just with our boy Axel, freaking so damn entertaining. It's hilarious. It's like, she's cute. She's dead. Still. It's just having the sandwich on top, just trying to create some light humor because it's just a dark situation throughout because Jason's body is finally at the morgue. Hey, it's over. Jason's lost. Is what they want you to think. And then that's when they put Jason up, and then Axel and the nurse are, getting it on. And then that's when the cliche of the hand popping out and hitting the nurse. And then that's when Axel, just does his whole like freak out motion. And then the nurse is freaked out. She leaves, and Axel's like, "Well, what can I do just to relax?" Watches his favorite video of a workout video of the girls just working it out, just putting Axel at ease. Putting all of us at ease. Until my boy Jason's like, "No, this ain't gonna be just a light tone ease movie. This is some dark shit." And then bam, that first kill just sets everything in motion of it being, hey, this is dark as shit. You're going to be in for one hell of a ride. It just offs Axel, like literally took his head off, like saw it off first and then took it off. And then just that nurse kill too. Oh, so damn painful. Lifted her up, getting a little scalpel. Yeah, just like dissecting her. That's pretty much like he was just curious, like, I want to see what your insights look like. Even though he didn't say that, but like you get the point, just like how brutal those kills are, like just really putting his victims in so much pain in that opening. You're like, well, God, those two deaths are so brutal. What the hell are we going to do next? And then boom, you're immediately attached to the movie and you're ready to go.
Here's what I think, though. Part 4 rolls around. I think the intro to Part 4 is essentially just a conduit, so you can get from Part 3 to Part 4. Like it's just kind of a middle piece, just something where you can kind of tell that Jason's still alive. And every time I watch it, I'd get the feeling that this whole sequence really, I mean, at the end of the day, isn't needed that much. Like once we get later in the movies, like we kind of skip over this, Jason resurrection part a little bit more. This part is just literally just telling Jason didn't die. He's still out there. And every time I watch it, I'm like, okay, let's get to the Corey Feldman part of the movie. And, the kills are good. The kills are solid. They're very good, but it goes on for a little while. And obviously, a lot of the footage comes from the setting of Part 3, which is a good scene. I like it overall. But Part 6, it really sets up the whole plot of the movie. It's so important. Like the whole movie revolves around the opening of Part 6. It's all Tommy trying to convince people Jason's back and he's coming back and he's going to freaking kill everybody around because he resurrected him at the beginning of the movie. So to me, I feel like it really sets that plot up a little bit more than Part 4 is just more kind of like a, here's where we're at now kind of deal.
So what I would say about that is I definitely agree with Brad where he's saying like Part 6's opening is so important and so iconic to the franchise that it's like everyone kind of knows that opening. But in the flip side of that, something I don't necessarily agree with, I think this is a bonus for Part 4, is that the opening moments of Part 4 picks up right after the end of Part 3. It's just like very smooth transition from movie to movie. And I think that's a huge plus for Part 4, having that connecting scene. I would actually prefer that to stay in the movie because I really like that it has that connection. And I think that's why I like Halloween 1 and Halloween 2 so much, because Halloween 2 picks up literally right moments after the end of the movie, end of Part 1. So I think that is a huge plus for the beginning of Part 4. But like I said, the beginning of Part 6 with the lightning and zombie Jason and all that, and it's pretty incredible.
And plus, who doesn't like a good old previously on Friday the 13th and just show you a big highlight reel to get you so pumped up and then bam, the movie starts.
Oh, yeah. We skipped that entirely in Part 6. We get straight to the action.
You're just mad that your movie didn't have an awesome previously on Friday the 13th.
Didn't need one, dude.
I like those. I do like those. Is it Part 4 that has the really, really good one? Is that the last one?
Like, hey, it's supposed to be the final chapter, so you had to pull out all the stops, which trust me, it did.
Part 7 had a pretty decent one too.
Oh, maybe it was Part 7 I'm thinking of because I just watched that over on House of the Living Dead. One of them has like a really great opening monologue.
Yeah, Part 7 is solid. I think it's done.
That was solid.
It's done by the guy that did Crazy Ralph, right?
Right. It's definitely that one. Yeah. Yeah, I really like that opening monologue. And when I found out it was Crazy Ralph, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, that was a good one. I like that. And Part 4 does have a good one too.
So since we've talked about best openings, let's talk about which movie has the best like finale / climax. So like the end, basically the end chase / end fight scenes of the movie.
Brad, you can go first.
Okay. Again, with part 6, the ending of this movie really plays into the plot of the movie, the whole theme of the movie. The whole thing is Tommy trying to track down Jason and kill him, send him back to hell once and for all. Whereas part 4 is just like, okay, we're getting chased by this killer. We got to kill the guy. It's very simple. It's very, it's been done 100 times. Part 6, we start out the movie with him trying to find Jason, kill his ass once and for all, and that's where we end things. That's what the whole movie is kind of building up to. So we get this whole thing, this whole little good and evil battle throughout the movie that ends in this epic freaking sequence in the lake where Tommy, at this point, he's not really scared of Jason anymore. He's just trying to kill his ass, like I mentioned earlier. So he gets out there. He gets his books from Karloff's general store. He gets his books. He learns that Jason's got to be killed in the place he freaking drowned before, essentially. Not again, which is throwing out nice mythology for the character, which I like. So we get there. They get everything together. Meg and Tommy get together. And, obviously they get to the camp and there's kids there, which again elevates things once again to another level that we haven't seen before in the franchise. There's kids at this camp, Crystal Lake, Forest Green, whatever you want to call it. They get out there, plenty of kids are running around. They're freaking out. Jason's busting through doors, all kinds of crazy shit. Like it's just, there's dozens of kids in here and he just comes busting in. Meg comes up, tries to save the day, gets her head crushed almost. And then Tommy's out there like, hey, Meg, head, come out here. One of my favorite sequences in the franchise, dude. We're talking like, that's kind of the buildup. And then we get the sequence where, he's just calling out Jason at this point. He's no longer scared at all. Kind of similar to part 4. I mean, he's calling him out. He's saying, hey, come here, come fight me. Leave those kids alone. And then we get the badass sequence where Jason comes walking down into the water, man. And he just he's just walking. He's not swimming. He's walking. He's doing what Jason does. And he goes underwater and he just kind of walks out there. And they have this freaking amazing sequence in the lake where Tommy's he's in the boat. He's freaking out, dude. He's like, oh, let me dump a little gas over here. Dump a little gas over here. Again, flames. Great sequence. Again, one of my favorite visual moments of the franchise is where he's floating out there with the fire. Jason pops up and breaks the canoe, which is awesome. It's fantastic. And again, the whole thing starts with Sheriff, Garris coming out there and getting his ass killed, which again is not only the kill is great, but like I said earlier, the moment's fantastic because we've actually grown to like Garris, and he's a big part of this movie at this point. Like, you kind of feel, like he's a major kind of guy at this point. He gets killed, and that's how we kind of start things off here. So it's like, oh shit, Sheriff Garris is dead. Now it's just Tommy and Jason. So they have this great battle out here. It's awesome. It's great. But the reason I think it's so good is because the movie set this whole thing up at the beginning. Like there's actually an arc there. There's actually a story being told here, and it gets finalized at the end. Whereas part 4, again, is great. I like it. It's one of the best endings of the franchise, best third acts of the franchise. But again, it's very common. There's nothing too proprietary about it. It's kind of the same thing as part 3 and part 7 and part 5. Jason's after a bunch of people at the end. They kill him. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of like agree with you. Like just starting it from beginning to end, like it's always going to help a third act make really good. It's just to set up like the first act. My movie did a really good job with the first act, like setting up Trish and Tommy, getting to know their characters. So by the time you get to the third act, you got somebody to cheer for, or you're just concerned about them to see if they're going to live or not. When that third act hits, when Trish discovers Doug just chill, like just hanging out in the bathroom. Oh man, that's just when the intensity and just really picks up, and you're just so nervous for Trish. And then when Trish seeing Rob getting killed, going, "He's killing me! He's killing me!" Oh, just a Trish freaking out, just freaking out about that. Then that, bam, the battle begins between Trish and Tommy versus Jason Voorhees, and Jason just like. Trish was trying to play defense at first, like, to protect Tommy, but Jason's like, no, your defense is weak. Bam, busts down through the door and throws a hammer at her. Just like, damn. I was like, again, damn, Jason ain't messing around. Like, you don't know how this third act's going to go. And then they get to Tommy's bedroom, and you got all that. Jason busting down the door. One of his favorite movies is The Shining, taking a page out of Jack Nicholson's playbook, or for Jack Torrance. And then Trish is like, no, here's your big break on TV. Bam. And that's the thing too. Jason just takes a damn beating by Trish and Tommy too, but the fucker just gets back up and keeps moving forward because Brad, that's how winning is done. And
well, not after the machete gets hit in his face.
Well, we're getting there. We're getting to that iconic shot of the whole franchise right there. And that's when you get like, Tommy's like, well, we can't beat him physically. We're going to have to beat him another way. And then that's when he figures out the psychological advantage. Oh, a little nod over to freaking Jeannie from part 2. So as he's getting busy, Trish is distracting Jason, trying to save her little brother. And then they had a nice little chase scene and all that. And Trish is trying to fight back. And then it's like when Trish came back to the Jarvis house for the final time. And just, she's emotionally drained. She's exhausted. She's been taking the beating herself because she fell out of she jumped out of the second story to fall, which, you can tell is obviously a mat when she lands. And then when Jason comes in, she's got that machete and just does that blind attack and freaking just actually gets Jason in the hand right there. And you see the beautiful effects of Tom Savini with the little half of the hand right there. And then she actually brings up one of the most lines, like one of the best lines probably in the entire franchise. I know it's like paraphrasing here. She's like, I'm going to give you something to remember me by, you son of a bitch. As she's like this is her like last stand. She's going all out. She got a nice clean shot of the mask removal. Beautiful look of Jason Voorhees, just one ugly looking motherfucker, as Arnold will say. And then that's when Trish is like finally losing and Jason's got her. And then our boy Tommy comes in being kid Jason, just using that psychological advantage to get one last good distraction. And then that's when our boy Tommy saves the day. Bam! Nice machete right to the face. I mean, we get that beautiful practical effect of the Jason sliding down to the machete. You cannot beat amazing and so beautiful. That's why that scene alone is why I think Tom Savini is the GOAT of special effects. And then, we think it's all over, happily ever after, but nope. Tommy just had to be sure that he was dead, and that's when he just freaking goes to town. Die! 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 Oh, crazy. And we thought that was the end, but no, Finn, that's when we see him at the hospital trying to recover, and then Tommy does that little face at the end. Just to kind of get you to thinking, is Tommy going to be a new Jason Voorhees? And that is a great way to end a final chapter.
Let's go back for just a minute though, and let's just refer back to this time in the lake that I was referring to, and let's talk about creativity for a second. Yes, the kill where Jason dies in part 4 looks fantastic. There's no denying that. It's great. It's awesome. It's one of my favorite kills in the whole franchise. It's undeniable. But it's a machete to the face at the end of the day. Okay, my Jason gets a damn propeller stuck in his face and his freaking face ripped off in the middle of the water. We got guts floating up here. It's like the sound effect too. It's just nasty. He's just getting freaking. There's guts. There's face guts flying around everywhere. Not that face have guts, but there's face juice kind of shooting around everywhere in the lake, and it's pretty nasty and gnarly, and it's really gross. And it's something that I don't think it's ever really been done before, at least not to that level. And it's a really intense ending there. I think at the end of part 6 for sure, with all that going on. And obviously it ends with Alice Cooper playing as he opens up his eye, and Alice Cooper, man, the man behind the mask.
You're that desperate, you have to throw in Alice Cooper.
It's at the end of the movie. It's how it ends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it cuts right into it.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. See, my movie just leaves you with uncomfortability, while yours just leaves. Oh, happily ever after. Let's play some Alice Cooper.
Yeah, dude. Your movie is actually happily ever after because Jason's dead, but then there's this weird ass freaking Tommy twist where he's the guy now. So it's like, yeah, it's kind of like
That's not happily ever after. As you insinuated that Tommy did kill Trish, the words that came out of your mouth.
It just gets weird, man.
We don't know.
It gets weird. Jason's the bad guy here, and you still see that at the end of part 6.
But
even
it's a final chapter.
His face gets completely chopped off, and he still opens his eyes. He's ready for the next chapter at this point.
I don't think I would have wanted to see them pull a Jamie Strode with Tommy, even though they didn't go all the way with Jamie and have her be the killer in the movie. I'm glad he didn't actually we didn't see a scene with him stabbing Trish, or
Oh yeah,
even in part 5 with I forget her name off the top of my head, but at the end of that movie, he's like standing behind the door. Yeah, Pam. He's standing behind a door with the mask on and a knife in his hand. Pam is none the wiser, so it looks like he could be killing her. That's like you guys were saying. Both movies have such a strong finale with Trish's chase scene into the house, and then them both fighting him, and then young Tommy shaving his head so he looks like younger Jason and going down doing the whole like psychological warfare with him. And then the flip side of that, and Jason Lives, we have the final battle on the lake with all the fire going on, and it's like super intense, and Megan has to come help, and there's like like Brad said, there's the not face guts and all that kind of stuff going on. So both movies really have an ultra strong finale for Friday the 13th. Two of the best in the series for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's not forget that part 6 ends in the lake where this whole thing began. Like the lake is what everything kind of revolves around is the lake. Whereas part 4 it's really not there other than a couple of ropes swinging segments. Short ass rope too. Long ass rope, I should say.
At least mine's human.
Yeah,
human lake. He drowned once in the lake. He's gonna do it again, man. He did it. He did it once. He's gonna do it again. This is where it all comes back to. It's a circle.
Freddy dies by fire, Jason by water. How can we use that?
Oh no. Oh gosh.
All right. So now that we're talking about Crystal Lake, actually, which of your two movies would you say has the better locations? Jason Lives has the whole camp setting, and you go into town a little bit, but mostly all the camp setting there at the lake, versus part 4's the vacation house and the Jarvis house next to each other. Which is the better locations?
Let me think about that. Of course it's mine, just because just the Jarvis house, it has that nice like feeling, like the log cabin. It has that nice feel like you're actually like in a camping area. Like of course like it's not an actual camp, but it still does its best to make it feel like a camp. Like one of the the main building or the main campsite like building where all the important stuff is. It's a nice house too, and the guest house across from the Jarvis residence, the blue house, it looked really nice too. And it's just like they did their great job too, just making both houses feel dark when it's time to feel dark. And they also had a lake too, like when they sing where all the visitors like Jimbo, Ted, and all of them, the twins, were jumping in that lake too. So there was a nice shot of the lake as well. They just did a great balance between the two. So my setting is really good.
It was decent. I'll give you that. It's not bad. It's not horrible. Solid. Again, the Tommy residence is good. It's nice. I mean, at the end of the day, though, it's a house, though. I mean, how many horror movies have we seen in a house? Okay. We've seen plenty of them. But in part 6, like we start off with this unique freaking setting of the cemetery, which we've already talked about. They do a great job of pulling in the atmosphere. Again, like we've already harped on it, the storms rolling in, right? The wind. Great atmosphere comes with that cemetery. It's a great sequence, kind of lit nicely. And again, got a really nice gothic feel to it. But then we move on from that, and we actually get a camp in this movie for the first time since freaking part 2. And that is very commendable because, again, that's what this whole thing revolves around is Camp Crystal Lake, at the end of the day. That's what everything is about. So we finally see Camp Crystal Lake back, which is super important. This is actually the biggest camp of all camps because there's cabins, except for maybe Packanack, but you get these cabins everywhere, and it's great. Obviously filmed in Georgia, which is awesome. Through that, you actually see kids here for the first time, which is awesome. Again, just adding to that summer camp feel, again, for the first time. So I really like that sequence quite a bit and everything that comes with that. You see the cemetery a few times. That's really the main two settings. You get the cemetery at the beginning and the camp throughout the rest, and then, random things here and there. But it does a good job of kind of feeling like a small town summer camp, I think, through the end of the day, because you get this small town, which again, Covington, Georgia, very small town. It's very nice. They filmed a lot of stuff there because it's so beautiful. Halloween 2, for instance, Rob Zombie's version. It's great. It looks good. Nice little. That's where the sheriff's office is and Jason lives. It gives you that small kind of town vibe. And again, I like that. I like that quite a bit. It's pretty nice.
Oh God, Brad, did you mention Rob Zombie's Halloween 2?
Well, it's just an example. They filmed a lot of things there. And a camp, again, it's such a good. I mean, it's a great setting. The new Fear Street 78 was filmed out there. The same camp. Yeah. It's fantastic, and it's just an awesome setting. Again, right on the lake, woods all over the place. Like, again, it really just brings you back to Camp Crystal Lake, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's tough because like part 6 has that original, maybe not original, but it has that like whole camp atmosphere that you're really looking for from a Friday the 13th movie. But with part 4, they had already done that, so it's like you could say that the new setting of the house plus like the guest house or vacation house is like fresh. So it's definitely a toss up, because I like it's different having the two big residences next to each other that Jason has to run them back and forth between and go up and down the stairs and all that stuff, versus at the camp, he's just going to one cabin, killing everyone, next cabin, moving on kind of thing. He was almost kind of like just hanging out in part 6, because he like would go into the kids' cabin, check on them, peek through the windows, and then go on. Like, but I actually, I suppose I don't want to pick a side, but I think I do really like the like camp atmosphere of a Friday the 13th movie over like anything else.
Mm-hmm. It's my favorite, and again, the cemetery too is just such a great setting in that movie. Again, it's fresh to the franchise, and I love that about it, man. The cemetery to me is one of my favorite settings in the whole franchise. Just that little sequence we get out of it.
Yeah, and then it's just the morgue setting with part 4 too was neat too, just because like it's never been to the morgue before, and when the morgue that's just where dead bodies is, and again you really think that Jason Voorhees is dead, but were they wrong?
All right, so we've talked about which has the better location, so that kind of leads me into which movie has the better cinematography.
Ooh, Bert, you want me to go first again? It's my turn, I think.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Oh man, again, man. I mean, the RV sequence here alone, I think, wins this battle, man. It's so good. The whole time when the RV flips over and Jason pops up, and you got the fire in him, that silhouette of, it's fantastic, man. Absolutely love that. But again, there's so many good moments in this movie. Going back again to that epic opening with everything at the cemetery, with Jason come out of the grave, and just the lighting there in the cemetery as they're walking through, it's beautiful. And again, towards the end of the movie, I won't talk too much on these things because I've already talked on it quite a bit. But the opening again, atmosphere and everything, the cinematography is a big part of that. You get this nice kind of feel of when they're driving the truck down the road, and not to mention the whole opening. Before the truck even comes driving down the road, you get this nice establishing shots of the forest and the woods and the moonlight coming in and all this stuff, which is great. Really just kind of gives you a feel for where you're at. All that, everything through the cemetery is great. Like I've mentioned multiple times, it's awesome. And then the ending with the lake and the fire surrounding the boat, and everything there again is great. With which the lighting of the fire kind of gives you kind of a unique feel to it and everything, and a nice way to light the ending of the movie. It just makes things that much more epic. And I think the shots are done really well. And again, just throughout this movie, there's so many really good establishing shots of the environment that they're in. When they're driving down the highway and Tommy gets let loose, you kind of think about that, with the sign, with the 4-screen sign. And it kind of pulls out, and again, you're just seeing trees and forest and woods and everything. And same thing kind of throughout the car chase with Meg and everything like that. Just it does a great job of giving you an idea of where you're at the lake, what kind of town this is, and everything. And for that, I love the way it's shot. Again, this movie has Jason throughout, like I mentioned earlier, so you have to kind of factor him into it and how you're going to shoot him and how you're going to kind of compare him to the other people in the movie. And and how you're going to light him. And I think for the most part, this movie does a really good job with that from the opening to the end. Specifically when, him and Garrus have their little battle there at the end, the way they kind of have their little face off and everything. I love the way the whole sequence is lit and everything. It just looks great with the way they kind of stand off to one another, and you can see CJ kind of towering over him and everything that transpires after. It's fantastic.
Okay, I'll give your movie credit. It does have very good cinematography. It really does. But mine has really good cinematography, just in a more darker tone. Just like with the lighting and all that, creating some really great shots, like with the mask of Jason Voorhees. And one of the more underrated cinematography shots in my movie was the bathroom scene with Doug, with all the steam and the fog, where the lights are out too. Because I know that couldn't be easy, to get the perfect lighting in that room where it's all dark and foggy and all that, or not foggy, but steam. That's a very underrated shot. Of course, I've talked before, but the look of Jason when the mask is on, the special effects of the movie, all amazing cinematography shots that really just stick into your brain. When you think Friday the 13th, you go right back to those shots immediately. The cataloging house, like the Jarvis house and the guest house, both of those look great on from the outside. Great houses for cinematography wise. And then just the lake too, like the lake where all them jumped in. That was a nice shot too. Just creating creating a peaceful environment until all hell breaks loose. So again, the main thing was just my movie with the cinematography is just the dark lighting, just to create a whole different aspect to a Friday the 13th we never seen before. Kind of just really goes dark and really goes for it with the cinematography shots that they chose to include in this movie.
Yeah, I agree with you both on pretty much all of that. Parts 4 has such a dark kind of tone to it through the whole movie, and the way it's shot kind of reflects that, versus part 6 having the more I don't want to say wacky tone, but the more kind of upbeat, more willing to do anything kind of tone. So they already know Jason's coming back as a zombie, so they're just kind of going with it from there. And the way the movie's shot, it just really reflects that they're going for something different with Jason Lives versus the dark, this is the end kind of atmosphere for part 4. And actually, Brett's point once again led me into my next question. Which movie has the scarier unmasked Jason?
Oh man, it's mine, because my Jason is real. I don't need a whole zombie to look scary.
He ain't that kind of zombie, man.
hey, might as well. He walked like one, but just the look of my Jason, because it just establishes early on that that's what he looked like as a kid and why he got picked on and all that. And as he grew older, he got more uglier too. And it's just in the final chapter, it just really shows we're going to go all out with this look. And Tom Savini did an excellent job with the whole look. Just the teeth and all that. I can't do it because my teeth are too straight. Jason's, on the other hand, are not straight at all. And then his I'm telling you, man, just the detailed of how can we freak out? Not only just the characters, but the actress of Trish herself. You could tell she was really terrified when she got that first glimpse of Jason without the mask. So definitely, didn't need maggots. It didn't need all that. We just need a guy behind the mask. Easily, my Jason just looks way more disgusting and way scarier.
Okay, Jason, let's go ahead and cut it straight here. Jason part 4, he looks like he just came out of seeing Star Wars The Last Jedi, and he's kind of on the fence about it. He's kind of smiling almost, but he's almost I don't know at the same time.
He's happy killing people.
I don't know. He's just got that smile and look to him, but he's actually kind of unsure of himself. You know what I mean at the end of the day. So that's kind of the vibe I get from him. Nice looking guy. He looks if it was a Saturday or Sunday and maybe not a Friday, maybe he wouldn't be a bad guy to hang out with at that point. Obviously one ugly looking dude, but you could definitely, you could take him down to get some, if you got this man some Skittles, he would be your friend. And I think at the end of the day, like, that's the kind of vibe I get from him at that. But part 6, are you kidding me, dude? This guy, like I said earlier, he's got maggots falling off his head when he's when he's unmasked. He's been down there. He's been deteriorating. He's a freaking he's got damn maggots falling off his head. He's got his eyeballs still, which is great. He's doing a really good job with that. But I think at the end of the day, like, he looks terrifying. They could have done the whole movie with this part 6 unmasked if they wanted to, and it would have worked because the effects they put into this, it looks great. And you can also buy the fact that it's the same part 4 Jason because he's so decomposed at this point. Like, you can't dispute the fact that, I mean, like, it's not too off the walls like in part 8. It's like it's so dark and like, and whatnot. Like he looks like a legit kind of decomposing face almost. So I think that's really to be commendable, and I like the way they have the worms crawling around and stuff like that. And just yeah, I mean, to me, he looks fantastic at that point. My favorite looking unmasked Jason, I think, just because he's almost lacking an identity at that point. He's got more personality in this movie, but in when his mask is off, he doesn't have that identity anymore, I think.
Yeah, like Brett was saying, the fact that like Savini was involved makes that Jason just like, I don't know, the pinnacle of alive Jason anyway. But to Brad's point, he does make that kind of goofy like smirk or whatever, you know what I mean? He has like a goofy kind of look on his face almost. Not a smirk, but he has like kind of a goofy look on his face when he first pulls it off. So I do like what they do with the unmasked Jason in that movie, but I think the look of Jason in part 6, even not having Savini involved, Brad's right. He really looks like a decomposed person that's just been laying in the grave for however many years it's been now. And I don't know if they have a scene where he takes it off again. I kind of forget off the top of my head where he takes it off later on, but the opening scene setting the tone with just seeing his unmasked face right to start with, I think it was a good way to make him seem scarier than he might normally.
That's a good point. That's a solid point.
All right. So the next question is going to be kind of going back a bit. Which movie do you find has the best supporting cast aside from like the Tommies and Trish?
So part 6, I think, I mean, again, excluding Tommy, I think it has a really good cast. I think we have Sheriff Garris coming in with David Kagan. That's his name, I think. Obviously, he does a great job again of kind of being that other side of the coin here with Tommy, and obviously does a really good job. Not just the character alone, but the actor they chose to portray him does a great job of kind of carrying the movie alongside with Tommy, which I think is great. Just kind of giving you another adult character in the franchise, which is they're far and few between. So it's kind of nice to have. We have Tom Matthews, who's kind of older, and now we have Sheriff Garris here, 2 kind of adult guys, and I think that's kind of unique and nice, a good way of doing things. Jennifer Cook was fantastic as Meg too. Again, she kind of gives you that quirky, sarcastic kind of daughter character here that we get, which is just a great character alongside again with Tommy. Again, another kind of protagonist in this thing to go alongside with everything, and you kind of see the way that her relationship with her father is kind of fun, and Jennifer Cook really carries that, I think. Obviously, we have Darcy DeMoss in this thing too, which me and Bert saw her not too long ago back in Atlanta, and oh man, she's beautiful, and again, very entertaining in this movie with her scene with Court in the RV and everything. The way that whole thing transpires, great performance. I mean, she's just a side character, but she's just you could tell she's having a good time, and she's really giving you that. And
just 10 more minutes.
yeah, dude. Like just 10 more minutes, and then you also have Court Tom Fridley himself, which obviously we all know, the cousin of John Travolta, who is the GOAT of Hollywood. So I think that that's fantastic. He's a fun character to kind of follow along. There's no kind of Crispin Glover in this movie per se, like somebody so like goofy, or whatever, but everybody to me works really well. And again, let's not forget about your girl Paula, played by Carrie Noonan. I think again another girl you could kind of see her being the final girl of this movie. Again, that actress Carrie kind of gives you that vibe throughout the movie that she's kind of final girl material. and of course she's not. Again, I think a lot of the other characters are good too. I mean, obviously you have Sissy with Renee Jones, good character. Not quite as involved as some of the other ones, but she has some good chemistry with Paul, and you can see that they're friends. And I like the way that all kind of plays out. Oh, not to mention, hold on a second, Vincent freaking Gustafaro here as Deputy Rick. Yeah, I mean he's one of the best characters in the franchise for sure. Him and Garrus, yeah, wherever the red dot goes, you bang. Like, let's not forget. We didn't really talk about him in our review, Bert, but obviously he's fantastic, and him and Sheriff Garrus working together, they have that great dichotomy together, and it's fantastic. And just kind of seeing them as Sheriff Garrus's nice right hand man, so to speak, and everything. He even survives the movie, which is great. So.
Okay, yeah, your movie has some good, like a good supporting cast, but mine has a memorable supporting cast. Like, easily, like the best. I wouldn't really call them campers, but the best set of like core characters in the entire franchise. Each of them brings something different, and they're all just very entertaining. You can actually like really care about all of these characters too. And let's go ahead and just go with the best duo in the entire franchise of Jimbo and Ted. Damn, are they just so funny and just so entertaining. Just you remember their like interactions with each other of like, Ted, I really need to talk to you. Or it's just Jimbo just busting down the moves on the dance floor of. If you want to see the rest of those moves, be sure to check out our part 4 skit of Bird dancing. But you got those two. Which what's awesome about them is they the actors they improv for most of their interactions with each other, and you just know it makes everything better if the director just trusts them so much just to play into those characters and just letting them have fun with it. And damn, and you can tell too they have so much fun playing those two characters. And then we got other good two very beautiful women in Sam and Sarah, which Sam has a nice like little personality to her where she ain't going to take shit from Paul when Paul was getting busy with the twins. Well, yeah, my movie has twins, for crying out loud, and twins, like like just like everything's better with twins. But like Sam is just not like she's not just like the pushover like bitchy girl. Like she's not really a bitchy character anyway. She's just know who she is. She's confident. She's proud of who she is, and it really just shows on screen. And then you got like the nice innocent character in Sarah, who you really wanted to support too. And you can even actually see her and Doug be like the final guy and final girl in this movie, just in case if Trish and Tommy didn't survive. You could really bought them into like being a final girls, like a final girl and a final guy. And so and of course, probably another underrated supporting character too is Mrs. Jarvis, because like you can really buy her being the mother of Trish and Tommy. Like you can really buy into them being a family, and it all starts with the parents. And Mrs. Jarvis just really sells her role into this movie. I just wish like we got to saw her death on screen, which that's the bad part about her. Like, I feel like they just wasted a good character. But other than that, the supporting cast in this movie is really good.
I was about to say, Bert, at least all my supporting cast had decent kills. Your freaking mom gets freaking off-screen death. You kidding me? Come on now. Let's get out of town with that one. That's not even fair.
Right.
For me, I think like there's so many good cast members in both movies that it almost comes down to like Jennifer Cook versus Crispin Glover. Like, which one do you like more, kind of thing? Because they're both like, I find they're kind of like the shining side star of each of their movies.
Let's not forget the Grave Keeper either, man. Like I kind of totally forgot to even mention him when I was talking, but he did a great job as obviously almost was going to be Jason's dad in the original script. He's fantastic in this thing with kind of, again, breaking that fourth wall, talking, you guys have a strange idea of entertainment, or some people have a strange idea of entertainment. Yeah, I mean, he does a great job of kind of connecting with the audience and bringing them in on a different level that we haven't seen before.
I totally agree with that. And I think it would have been cool to see maybe more of what they could have done with the Jason's father storyline had they gone that route with him. But I don't know if I would have wanted the Gravekeeper to be the father, but I like the whole kind of idea that there was a father had something to do with it. But at the same time, I wouldn't want to end up getting like a big flashback to Jason having like a traumatic childhood and getting a whole Rob Zombie's Halloween
Yeah, that
origin
could get
for him.
weird.
So yeah, I don't think we need that. All right, so I'm down to my last couple of questions here. I'm going to save, I think, the toughest one for last.
Oh
Okay.
gosh.
So we'll get into this one first, though. Which movie has the best overall story?
Well, best overall story. Mine has a really strong story too, just because like it's the final chapter. You have to end it on a very high note, and with the story, it's like just about like just surviving and like just doing whatever you have to do to survive in this movie. And when a good story builds up good characters too, like and to give them purpose. And they definitely gave Trish and Tommy purpose of like a good brother sister dynamic. So when that third act hits, like I said before, you really are just invested into them. It's just to see them like ultimately survive. Like that's the name of the game in this movie, or for part 4. Is just who is the ultimate survivor, and just how they develop Jason throughout the movie and Trish and Tommy, just with the story developing them up for that ultimate clash of just see who the ultimate survivor is really nicely done.
Okay, so this one, obviously, let's talk a little Jason Lives story. First off, part 4, yeah, it's great. It's a fun time, but it's really the same, for all intents and purposes, story of part 1 through 3. It's nothing different. You bring in some better characters and some more entertaining side characters, and some better kills and a better Jason, but it's the same story. You have a bunch of people, they're going out to a cabin, they get slayed. Okay, part 6 comes into town, and it's damn freaking, they actually put a plot into this movie for the first time in the franchise, and quite possibly the only time in the franchise where it's actually got a legitimate plot, where Tommy, he's actually coming out here to salt and burn the ashes, so to speak, or salt and burn the bones, I should say, once and for all, put Jason, back to hell, or to hell before he actually goes to hell later in the franchise. But that's beside the point. So he goes out there to do the thing. He obviously gets resurrected, Frankenstein style, which again, yeah, obviously is an homage to Frankenstein, but obviously Frankenstein to now, it's been a good, 50 years as opposed to, the last 3 movies in the franchise. So, yeah, but anyway, so, and then the rest of the movie is him trying to track down Jason. It's different. It's the most unique kind of story in the franchise because he's actually going after Jason, like I mentioned earlier. And you have the whole kind of side plot where he's like trying to tell the sheriff about it, but the sheriff's not believing him. He's like, yeah, you're an idiot. You need to go back to the loony bin and all this stuff. Like, it's just another little subplot here where he can't get anybody to believe him. And he's trying to say, hey, yeah, he's coming back. Yeah. And they go to the cemetery and they're like, oh, dig him up. He put Haas back in the grave, dude. He's back down there at Jason's place. So now, like, he doesn't have any evidence of his story. So it just kind of keeps going from there. And again, like I said earlier, the whole ending is something you've been building up to, and that's that Tommy and Jason show off that we've been waiting for. So I think that that's something that the story kind of revolves around and goes to. And again, along the way, you get those you get a bunch of people getting slayed like all the other movies in the franchise, but there is an actual plot moving this movie forward, I think. And for that, it goes by so fast, and it's just so much fun to watch.
I think the thing I like most about the stories of both movies is that with part 4, it's supposed to be like the final showdown with Jason. So like they set it off slow and they slowly build up to this huge climax at the end with Tommy and Trish. But then on the flip side, with Jason Lives, it's supposed to be the return of Jason, the resurrection. He's back, and they just start off like really strong, and then they kind of like slow down and then build back up to this finale again. It's so hard for me to pick which one I like more overall in story because they're both done so well. Like the final chapter versus Jason returning, so. Mm-hmm. They're both such strong entries. Just that's why they're so popular amongst all the fans. And usually one of the two of these movies are sitting at the top of people's favorites list because of the stories in each of them.
Definitely.
All right. Are you guys ready for my final question?
Hit me with it.
All right. Let me get it up here. Which film had the biggest impact on the franchise?
You and me go, Bert?
What? Yeah,
Okay,
you
who
can go
went first
first.
last time? Okay. Okay, so obviously part 4 came along. This was built to be the final chapter in the franchise, which is great. That's commendable. I like their strategy there. But they came in, they killed Jason. But they didn't actually kill Jason. So at the end of the day, it didn't really impact the franchise that much. They actually, you had this one little weird ass movie that came out after it because they killed Jason. But at the end of the day, in the grand scheme of things, it kind of caps off the first 4 movies that'll have the same feel to them. It does do that. And I'll give it credit for that. It caps those movies off. But then outside of that, if you're marathoning the franchise, I mean, it's just another movie in the franchise. But then, and you can kind of see that it's just a, it's almost a gimmick to be the final chapter at that point, because I mean, the very next movie, the next year, they came out with another movie. So at the end of the day, you're like, okay, Jason's dead. Now part 6 comes along. It sets up multiple sequels after that because it brings Jason back to life, and he does so with a different fashion. You're bringing in a whole new era of Jason at this point with the whole zombie thing. So without 6, you wouldn't have 7, 8, 9, 10. You wouldn't have those movies without 6, because it gives you that opportunity to do that. And even if you did have those movies afterwards, they're not going to be the same because again, at this point, Jason is a zombie. It changes the look of Jason for the rest of the franchise. He never goes back to his original self at this point. So it's such an important thing to look at, because without that, you wouldn't have that badass Jason in part 7, with the spine protruding through and every wound. You wouldn't have that without 6 and taking it to that next level of being supernatural zombie Jason. So I think that's super important. Same thing with 8. Obviously I don't really, at this point, you guys know I'm not a huge fan of the look from part 8. I don't like it, but it's still kind of that zombie Jason. Part 9 again. Okay. Anyway, again, it changes the landscape of the franchise forever at this point. Whereas part 4 doesn't really do much. I mean, yeah, they kill Jason off, but he just comes back at the end of the day. And they even proved with 5 that you could make a Friday the 13th story without Jason after that point. So, but yeah.
Okay, well, just to let you know too, you can't have part 6. Like, how you're saying, like, you can't have part 7, part 8 without part 6. Well, you cannot have part 6 without part 4.
Sure, you could.
When Jason actually dies. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good luck trying to explain that, Brad. But anyway.
Okay, I'll explain it right now. You could have done it after part 3. You could have done the same thing. He could have easily died from that axe wound at the end of part 3 and been dug up in part 6. It doesn't. A machete to the face is no different than an axe to the face at the end of the day.
Well, I guess
he was dead at 3.
Could, but how are you going to explain the eye for part 3?
What are you talking about?
Yeah. Gosh almighty, like freaking Jason Voorhees took a machete to the face with that eye and that eye. Because, that's part of the zombie look of part 6.
Well, you don't have to have that. He took an axe to the head in part 3. He's dead. I mean,
but
at that point.
Affect the eye.
Well, who cares about the eye? The eyes are relevant.
Besides the point, my movie made the bigger impact just because, again, it is the final chapter, so people were rushing to the theater because, like we saw from the tail of the tape of the domestic numbers and all that and the budget, like they had to go all out in this movie. That's why it's just such an impact, just because they want to know how it ends. Does it live by Jason killing everybody, or does it end by him dying? We didn't know. That's why people rush into the theaters. Hell, you brought back Tom Savini to finish the job. And the movie's super important when Tom Savini's going to be involved, because he was heavily involved in the first one. So you had to make him heavily involved in the 4th one. So, like, there's that for an impact, too. And just like and again, this is a fan favorite, so you know it's up there for like how much it like leaves that forever impact, just with that how epic the third act is, the memorable characters, the gruesome kills. Like even the kills alone made an impact in this movie too, of just how brutal Jason Voorhees actually is. So I would easily say my movie is made more of an impact, so it can open the way for part 6.
I don't think so, man.
That's quite the argument you both made right there. It's like if I'm being a little honest here, my favorite Friday the 13th movie is Jason Lives. Like that's pretty much always been my favorite. Sometimes it kind of fluctuates between like part 6, part 2, and part 4, but for the most part, part 6 is on top. But like listening to all of you guys' arguments, like I love those movies like so much. Just hearing you guys each point from each thing is just like, if I had to really sit down and say which movie is better after hearing everything you guys said, it would still be very difficult because you guys made such amazing points.
Yeah. Like I respect Jason Lives and all that. It's just like part 4, it's just always really just hits me a lot more than part 6. But again, me and Brad started the Friday the 13th series like at like different eras in our life. Like Brad started at a young age with part 6, and I actually started it from the beginning. So with part 1, so I was building up to that part 4 because I've always been so curious on how it ends. So that's why I have that heavy attachment with part 4.
Yeah, I saw them out of order. I didn't have the luxury of seeing them 1 through 10.
So I got lucky on that.
Yeah, I didn't. I didn't either. I didn't actually see the first or second one or third one until like I was probably a teenager. Whereas the 6th one, the 4th one, and some of the other ones I saw a lot growing up.
I think one of the final ones I saw was actually Jason Goes to Hell, and I was like, I waited all this time to see this final one, and this is what I get.
That's one of the ones I actually saw as a kid because it came out it came out when I was growing up, so we had it, but part I ended up having to buy like 1, 2, and 5, 3, I think 2 as well, a little bit later, and kind of get caught up. But you know, they're all great.
Yeah, I definitely got them out of order. I think the first one I ever saw was 6. And then I think I saw 7 right after that, and then I jumped back to 3. And then from there on, it's kind of a blur. I didn't see the first one. The first one was actually one of the last ones I would have saw as well. I think I saw it just before I saw Jason Lives, like not the same day, but like with around the same time period.
Yeah.
And I don't think I knew for a while that Miss Voorhees was actually the killer in the first movie. And this is back when I was still quite young, but then eventually I got around to seeing the first movie, and I was like, what? There's no Jason in this one?
I know I saw Scream before I saw Friday the 13th because I knew that's what told me that Pamo was the killer in the movie. So yeah, I really grew up with 6 and 4 big time. Those are my big 2.
It'd be great to be able to go back. I mentioned this in a stream yesterday, but wouldn't it be great to go back and be able to watch them for the first time, not knowing what's going to happen, getting surprised by everything?
Oh yeah, dude, it'd be crazy.
Or just to go back in time and see everybody else's reaction while you're just the only one in the theater going, oh, they have no idea what's coming.
Oh my God. To go back and actually see them when they came out in the 80s would be like perfect.
The dream.
Oh,
especially at the classic drive-in theater too. Oh, classic.
Yeah. Well, driving would be awesome too, because you'd maybe go see it during an actual storm or something and have the setting. And that'd be amazing.
That could be cool.
Just sitting in your car with Friday the 13th coming over the radio and seeing it up on the big screen and thunder and lightning all over the place.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. These movies are both like, every time I watch them, it's there's no point. Like some of them you watch them, especially with like part 8, part 9, part 10, you're like, oh, come on, get on with it. Or like something silly's happening. Like you're kind of not bored, but you're just like, can we just get on with the cool stuff already? Versus back here with part 4 and part 6, it's just constantly like something cool happening, or cool character, or like amazing death. It's just I find these 2 movies, especially more than any other movie in the franchise, they just don't stop. It's just constantly something happening.
Yeah, like the pacings for both movies are really good.
Yeah.
Like hardly a dull moment.
Yeah, they're both so much fun, man. And now that we're, done with the questioning part of this, obviously, and the arguments are done, but no closing arguments for you, I guess. Nothing, nothing.
I
Nothing
rest
else.
my case.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I was about, do you have closing arguments? I should ask that.
No, I think I'm pretty good. I think I made a decent case. I think obviously I mentioned a minute ago that Friday the 13th four is just any other Friday the 13th movie. Obviously that's not the case. That's puffery. That's what we like to call that here, and it's just not true. I love both movies. I mean, they're definitely two of my favorites in the franchise without question, and it's hard to argue against Friday the 13th Part 4, but I do love me some Jason Lives, man.
Yeah, and I respect Jason Lives too, and it's so awesome. And CJ Graham does such a good job in that movie too. And if I want to have a fun time with Friday the 13th, I immediately go to Jason Lives because that movie is just so much damn fun with Tom Matthews and Jennifer Cook with Tommy and Megan. Oh, they're so much fun to watch too. And the sheriff is great with all of his little like one-liners and all that. So I respect Jason Lives. It's like in the middle of the pack for me, but like I respect what it brought to the genre and to this franchise.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say about these two movies. There's been so much like, I guess. If there's one thing I could say about each of these movies, they're both so iconic. Like when I think of Friday the 13th, I immediately what comes to mind is Final Chapter and Jason Lives. Like they're such on they're like on the S tier of Friday the 13th movies. Yes. Like you could probably put two up there maybe, but the fact that there's this like not hockey mask Jason and it's kind of got like the lumbering around Jason that's tripping over everything. It's not necessarily quite a serious feeling, but
Brad learned the hard way.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that mask is hard to see. Yeah. I agree, man. Definitely that's what comes to mind for B2 is those two. I don't think anything else. I mean, again, like you said, 2 is up there, pretty close, but outside of that, nothing really else in the franchise matches these. I think they're both very solid. And yeah, man, I mean, that's if I had to pick any of them to take, it would be those two without question. They're so different too, which is also nice. Yeah. Like, and you can skip 5 entirely and go from 4 to 6, and it still all makes sense. Yeah.
I wish kind of like that's what they did do. It's just like not have 5 in general, and just go from 4 to 6. Like, I agree with that.
Yeah. See, I do like Part 5. I know a lot of people don't like it because of the bait and switch at the end with Jason and Roy, but once you kind of get over that, I actually like the movie. Like all the movie leading up to that point where it's revealed to be Roy, it does feel like a Friday the 13th Jason movie. The music is on point. Jason is Roy is freaky as Jason. He even does the thing where he busts through the door at one point. Like, how did he even do that?
I don't know, but you're right. Like, I actually had I had a good time with that movie on this last review series. This when we were watching through, I had a really good time with that, man. I had some fun characters in there and a lot of kills. I mean, granted, they're all cutaways, but a lot of kills. A lot of fun.
Talking to me, boss?
Yeah, golly.
I actually have it above Part 1 on my ranking, which might be controversial, but
I could see that. It feels very much like Part 1, but honestly, it's a little bit more exciting. Like Part 1, I think has more atmosphere, but the movie's kind of they're similar. It's kind of a whodunit kind of feel to it, first person. But this one has more kills and more characters and whatnot. So I mean, I could understand that for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hey man, you like what you like, and just always stand against it.
Yeah, you got to stick up
for
it.
Yeah.
As you guys just were for both of your movies.
Oh yeah, what a fun time, man!
So much fun, and Josh, we appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to be our special guest moderator. Again, we could not pick the perfect person. Like when we talked about doing this idea, we're like, we gotta get Josh on here.
Oh, definitely, dude. What do you have anything coming up on your channel that the people should be aware of or anything?
I'm going to be doing some streams for some of the stuff I missed recently. So like I'm going to be reviewing Fear Street Part 1, Fear Street Part 2, Megan Fox's Till Death, which I hear is really great. So I got to see that.
Very good movie.
I'm also going to be doing a watch party next week for Friday 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge with Destiny and Chris. So that's going to be a lot of fun. It's been a while since I've actually got to see Nightmare on Elm Street 2. and I feel like it's getting the respect it deserves now. So I'm excited to actually hop in and watch it all over again. I usually watch the Nightmare franchise like once a year or so, but last year I was so busy in October with YouTube, getting all my Friday the 13th stuff out and getting the channel set up, so I really didn't get a chance to watch it. So I'm really excited to jump back into the Nightmare franchise, give them all a fresh watch, and then like re-rank them at the end and see how I feel about it.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Awesome.
That sounds awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm excited for it, but those pre-recorded videos are a lot of work.
Yeah, bet they are.
Trust me. Like, so
I know
Chris
you guys
Tyler,
know.
if you're listening to this, you're lucky that you thought of your idea first of just watch-alongs only.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's so much easier just to like. It's still a lot of work getting the stream and stuff set up, but just being able to sit down and relax and chat and not have to like do hours of editing is so nice.
Oh
Yeah.
dude, so nice indeed. Absolutely. Like I can't wait to do more of kind of like the watch-alongs on our channel too. Like, because we've been having talks about doing that, and we're also excited about Dream Warriors.
Ooh.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So I can't wait for when that time comes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but are you excited for the remake?
Oh, okay. I'm not excited, but like I don't hate on the movie as much. It's not as bad as people make it out to be. Trust me, there's way worse horror movies out there.
Yeah, that's true. Would you say it's worse than I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer?
No,
No,
not close. Not close.
I might actually. I have to rewatch the remake, but after that, I'll probably decide whether or not it's worse.
Oh, I'm
bad, man.
excited to hear that opinion.
I'm really excited to have you guys on though for that.
Yeah, I'm looking
For
forward
not
to
that
it.
one, for part 3 anyway.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, definitely for part 3. So
We're gonna have a good time.
I can't wait. So, Brad, you want to quickly, briefly, what we got coming up?
Yeah, I think at this point we're pretty much almost done. If we're not already with the Friday the 13th franchise, we're just going to be right at the tail end of it. I don't know exactly when this is coming out, but we're wrapping that up, and we're getting into just a couple little things to kind of get us into September. September, we're going to be jumping into Daniel Craig's Bond movies. We're going to be talking about those leading up to No Time to Die. In October, we're going to do a review for each of those, so we're really excited about that. And obviously, Good Will Haunting is right around the corner, 2021, of course, Bert. And we're really excited about that because we have some awesome stuff planned.
Favorite time of the year.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's going to be obviously horror only all month, and with exception of No Time to Die. And we have some good ideas around stemming from that.
And then there's a particular movie coming out too on October 15th. No big deal.
Yeah, dude. Oh, I don't know.
Oh man. So another great episode of Slash It Out. So let me go ahead and just close it on out here. So guys, what did you all think about this Friday the 13th edition of Slash It Out? Are you on my team for Friday the 13th, the final chapter, part 4? Or are you on Brad's team, Friday the 13th, part 6, Jason Lives? Let us know in that comment section down below so you can determine the winner, and let's get that discussion rolling.
And if you want us to find a good reels, you can do so by finding us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Letterboxd, Snapchat, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and TikTok. And also check out freaking Josh's content, Camp Blood Media. We got his links in the description as well as ours down below. So obviously he's got the YouTube channel. Looks like he's got Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as well. As Twitter is actually fantastic. Many polls get put up on that Twitter, and they're always good. So be sure to follow him there as well and check out those.
Yeah, absolutely check out those. And be sure to like our videos, share and subscribe our videos, especially Josh, because Josh is just, again, has an amazing channel. I think you're about around 455 right now, last time I checked. So he's on that quest of 500. Let's get him there. And how can you be aware of our videos? Of course, ringing that bell. Ding, ding, ding. So you all know when the next videos are up and ready.
Right you are. We will be camping with you guys very shortly from now again. So we hope to see you guys soon. Thanks for jumping in, and be ready for that next Slush It Out coming down the road.
See you guys.
See you guys.